All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about the 147-pound division and what Jaron Boots Ennis's trainer and father, Bozie Ennis, had to say about a fight with Errol Spence Jr. and how you have to beat Errol. Very, very insightful, and I think it has an effect on other fights that we may want to see. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division. Jaron Boots Ennis, if you're familiar with this channel at all, is one of my very favorite young fighters. I think is probably one of the best contenders in all of boxing. I would say prospect, but I do not think this man is a prospect at this point in time. He's ranked in the top 4 of every major sanctioning body. He is the IBF mandatory for Errol Spence Jr.'s belt. He is also lined up right there for a title eliminator. If they decide to have it for the WBO belt that's held by Terrence Crawford. If you've seen this kid fight at all, you know that he is one of the best talents in the sport. And his father, Bozie Ennis, who is his trainer out of Philadelphia, gave an interview. It was very, very insightful interview where he talked about a lot of different things. And one of the things that he talked about was the fight with Errol Spence Jr. And as you know, that's not some fantasy situation. Jaron Ennis is the IBF mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. And he talked about what you had to do. Bozie Ennis talked about what you have to do in order to beat Errol Spence Jr. and said that he pretty much previewed that in the fight that you had with Sergey Lipinets. Now, before I get into that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're a longtime subscriber or a new subscriber and supporter, thank you guys so much for your support in the videos that we do. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you can know when we release more videos, which we do on a daily basis. So let's get into this. Jaron Ennis' father, Bozie Ennis, talked about what needs to take place in order to beat Errol Spence Jr. Now, first he said when he's asked about the fight, he's like, look, Errol Spence Jr. is not going to fight us. And we're not upset about it. We understand what the case is. You know, he's in a situation where he's trying to get the undisputed fight with Terrence Crawford. And if he doesn't get that, he very well may move up, you know, to fight in the next division. You know, so we're not really pressing him. We understand what that is. And we understand that it's nothing personal against Jaron Ennis. They're not accusing him of ducking him or talking bad about him. He's like, look, man, we're not talking bad about any fighter. So he wasn't going to talk bad about Errol Spence Jr. But he did say, you know, when you fight Errol Spence Jr., what he thinks Jaron needs to do to beat him. And he said that you know, basically it brought up about the Sergey Lipinets fight. And he said, look, what people were talking about when they were fighting Jaron was, look, you know, Jaron will, you know, can box. That's no doubt about it. But Jaron also likes to fight. And so Sergey Lipinets thought, and his trainer thought, look, if we can get into a situation where we force Jaron to fight, then that is the best situation for us, where we force him to fight. Now, what do we mean by that? If you watch the Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz fight, that fight right there was it was a boxing match. And every once in a while, whenever Andy Ruiz could get close enough, a fight broke out. But for the most part, it was a boxing match. It was very tactical, right? Jabs, you know, jab, right hand, move, very, very tactical fight. Some people will call it a slow fight. Some other people might call it a boring fight. But they all know that Jaron Ennis is an excellent, excellent boxer. Now, when you're talking about a fight, look at the Sergey Lipinets fight versus Omar Figueroa, or any Omar Figueroa fight. That is what you call a fight, where they are mixing it up. They're in there. There's no shortage of people trying to hit home runs on your chin. They're right there, slipping, countering, boom, right? So when Sergey Lipinets tried that against Jaron, Jaron's coach Bozie, father coach Bozie, said, look, what we're going to do against him is if he wants to fight, you're going to have you go ahead and fight him. Give him what they're asking for. Beat Sergey Lipinets at his own game. So what Jaron Ennis did was he stood right in front of him. He wasn't moving around the ring and jabbing, scoring up points, putting rounds in the bank. He stood right in front of him, slipped shots, changed angles, hit him with big shots, made Sergey Lipinets pay for trying to come forward and staying in there with him, and convinced Sergey Lipinets that, hey, through a whole lot of violence, that you cannot you cannot stand in front of me and fight. If you want to fight, I'll fight. So that is what Bozie Ennis is saying that they need to do to Errol Spence Jr. Because Errol Spence Jr. is somebody that's going to come in there and he's going to try to make you fight. He's going to push the gas. He's going to press the gas on you. And he said, so basically saying that's how you got to do Errol. If you sit back and try to box with Errol and move and do all of that stuff, Errol is going to cut the ring off on you. And you're going to be in a very, very long night with him pressing you. And he's going to be very, very difficult to beat if you cannot push that dude back, if you cannot fight that fight with him. Right? Acknowledging that, using your boxing skills and moving around and jabbing and slipping and all of that stuff with Errol is a very hard route to go. You got to discourage this guy, and you got to discourage him with him sitting down and fighting. I think you're about right. And that also harkens back to something that was said by Floyd Mayweather Jr. when he was in a ring with Devin Haney at one point in time. And he said, look, man, you can fight, you can box, and you can do, you can hit without getting hit. And that is going to work a lot of your career. But at some point in your career, you're going to get in there with somebody that is going to cut that ring off, that is going to be in your chest. And you absolutely positively are going to have to fight them. There ain't no way out of it. You're going to have to be able to not only box, stay on the outside, do all of that type of stuff up, set your punches up, but you're also going to have to be able to, bite down on your mouthpiece and fight a guy and convince him that trying to come at you is the wrong thing to do, right? So, and I've seen, and there's a whole bunch of people throughout the history of boxing that's the case, and they're very hard to beat until they get older. Marvin Hagler is somebody, for example, that is going to, now he can fight, he can box, he can fight, but he's somebody that is going to definitely make you fight. You're more than likely not going to be too slick and clean with him the entire fight. Also, another guy like that is Andre Ward. If Andre Ward wants to fight you, he's going to get in there, he's going to make it a fight. Bernard Hopkins, same type of situation. Errol Spence Jr., I think, falls into that category. And I think that also says something about the fight with Terrence Crawford, if that ever happens with Errol, where if he is going to try to make that fight, he is going to have to sit down and is going to have to push Errol back down and push Errol and basically fight Errol. And that's something that Terrence Crawford has said too. He's like, look, I'm not going to move all over the place with Errol. I'm going to be right there, and I'm going to fight him, and I'm going to show him, what the deal is fighting him. So, that type of indication from Bozie Ennis about Jaron Ennis and what he do, I think is very enlightening. Also shows what a very well-rounded and a very, going to be such a hard fighter to beat, in Jaron Ennis, somebody that's that tall, that can box from range, but also can fight on the inside. Man, that is just something to deal with. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.